And welcome back to the Conscious Consultant Hour, Awakening Humanity. We've been speaking this hour with Alexander Dunlop, author of the book Play Your Cards Right, A Sacred Guide to Life on Earth, available on Amazon and all kinds of great places. I imagine, you know, you've gotten all this knowledge. You have a real affinity for this kind of language, as we said.
Mm-hmm.
How do you work with people? You know, when someone comes to you and, you know, okay, I know my card, my path, but like you actually help people as like a life guide, don't you?
I do. And so it's often incredibly healing for us just to find out our cards to play in the first place. And sometimes I see people break down in tears just to be recognized. Like, oh, yes, that is me. That after all this time, yes, thank you. So that's sometimes very healing. And then it is different, though, to put that into play in our lives and actually start to lean the weight of our choices on this self-awareness. And so that, as I mentioned before, it's for myself and for my clients, it's a deconditioning. It's a peeling back all the layers that have built upon us, that have told us how to be the best version of ourselves, whether we heard it in our house or our religion, school. So what I do with my clients is I take them through a process of inner transformation.
Okay.
To peel away these layers, to get down to the core of who we are based on this template that we have from this book of life. And so it's a profound inner transformation process, and it involves a lot of clearing of belief work, of the limiting beliefs, and the thought patterns of who we think we are. So I'm often giving my clients mantras and affirmations that are specific to them for their cards to play. And I'm also doing energy healing work to clear the energy that's cluttering their field so they can be clear, so then they can start to play their cards right.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. And do you teach others like how to do what you do?
I do. And I'm very excited about this. I actually just posted 2 classes on my website that people can download and watch on demand, because I love teaching people about this system of knowledge. I want everyone to know about this.
Yeah, why not?
Why not? Let's all know how to read our cards so we can all be in harmony with ourselves, and then we can create relationships of harmony where we support each other to play our cards right. And my vision is that we have a society where children grow up knowing their soul's blueprint. We wouldn't have identity crises and other problems like that.
Speaking of which, you have a couple of kids, don't you?
I do.
And have you told them what their cards are and everything?
I have, and they love it. My daughter is 11, my son is 10, and it was very cute, especially when my daughter was like 7, 8, 9. We'd be on the playground. I'd be talking to another parent, and she'd run over and tug on my sleeve. Daddy, tell them their cards to play.
Yeah,
like, sweetheart, we're just talking right now. She loves it, and she has my book, and she actually brought it into her class, and she had her teacher read it. It's so helpful for them.
That's great.
It's really helpful for them to know themselves through this language, and for me as a parent, because then I can support them to play their cards right.
Right. So then you don't put sort of your stuff on them. You know what they should be for themselves.
Yes.
You know, one of the things that I think a lot of people kind of miss about all these different systems, whether it's, you know, the cards, astrology, human design, whatever, like they're great keys for dealing with our children to help them to be the best version of themselves instead of what we think they should be.
That's right.
Yeah. Oh, that's
Absolutely.
wonderful. So that's great. So the family really supports you in this.
And they love it. And so, so to answer your question, I do have classes where I'm teaching other people the meaning of the suits, the meaning of all 13 numbers, and then the meaning of the life path and how to read the life path and how to put all the pieces together to do their own interpreting of their life.
So now, I mean, we all have sort of a life path, but now, like I read in the beginning, you know, there are cards for each day during the year. How does like a life path interact with like a daily card?
That's a great question. So, like for instance, the planetary card is the Three of Hearts today, and that's for everyone on this
Right.
date.
Okay.
But let's say you were born to play the Three of Hearts.
Right.
First of all, it would be your birthday today.
Ah.
And whenever it's your birth card is the card of the day,
Mm-hmm.
there's a harmony that happens. And I have found that we get a wish fulfillment, which is very interesting that when we have a birthday cake, we make a wish and blow out the candle. Because it's like a portal opens and we're in alignment with the planetary energy and we get a wish fulfillment.
Right.
On the other hand, let's say the Three of Hearts is the Saturn card in your life path, which is the sixth card in your life.
Mm-hmm.
And that's actually for the Six of Spades. I do have it memorized, Rob. And so if someone who's born to play the Six of Spades, they would experience today as a challenging day. Because it's a lesson for them to learn about the Three of Hearts.
Right.
So it would change for each person, as you mentioned, based on our own life path, how we interact with the energy of the day.
Right. And so do the cards, like, is it, start January 1st is the ace of something and follow the suits, or does it start the king? Like how does it progress throughout the year?
Well, that's a good question. It's a little more complicated. It does start with the King of Spades on January 1st, and then it does go down the suits.
Okay.
Spades, diamonds, clubs, hearts is the order. But when we get to the end of the month and we start a new month, we start over and sort of restart, as it were. Again, it's a little more complicated, but for instance, February 1st is the Jack of Spades, and then it goes downward from there. And then March 1st is the Nine of Spades, and then it goes down from there. And so on throughout the year. So we don't actually get to the heart cards until the very end of the calendar year.
Oh, really?
Which, in my opinion, is the real reason for the season. It's the only time of the year that we have all 13 heart cards. And so we call it the season of the heart.
Okay.
And every religion that in the Western world has made a holiday around this time. It's actually because the underlying energies are all heart-based.
I see. So Hanukkah, Christmas, all that stuff.
It's the season of the heart.
Yeah. Oh, awesome. Very cool. So it's oh, right. So the 30 days or anywhere from 28 to 31 days in a month. So you're going to go 52 cards several times throughout the year.
And some of them repeat more than others. Some cards only happen once.
Okay.
Like the King of Spades only happens one day of the year. But like the King of Clubs happens 10 times in the year.
Oh, wow.
So the King of Spades as a birth card is very rare.
Okay, and as you mentioned before, there's also the Joker. Does the Joker show up at all during the year? Is that April
Joker
Fool's?
is December 31st.
Oh, December 31st.
Is the day of the Fool, the day of the Joker.
Oh, interesting.
So we play the Fool on New Year's Eve.
No wonder everyone gets drunk, huh? Wonderful. Excellent. So what does the future hold for Alexander Dunlop? What are you working on now that you've got the book out and you're...
I'm working some self-study programs so people can go more in depth. Like the gentleman who called in earlier and was asking about his cards to play, I'm creating some self-study programs for people to read more in depth their cards to play and to have coaching exercises that they can do on their own. So I'm creating those self-study programs. And then I just put up some classes, so I'm teaching more classes as well.
All right, great. And do you do any live classes?
I do. But I also put up the recorded classes because people asked me for them. Is there anything we can just download? And so I put those up, and then I'll be doing some more live classes probably early spring.
Oh, okay. Cool. And again, if people want to find out more about you, more about all this work, what's the website? Where do they go to find you?
They go to lifeelevated.life.
Lifeelevated.life. Oh, not .com.
.life. It's about
life. Yeah. Oh, that's great. I love that. And they can find out all about...
They can look up their birth card there, and they can find the book there. They can find the classes there. They can read my story there. I also have a lot of free resources there.
Yes.
And I'm very active on social media, putting out cards of the day and images of the day. So you get a lot of resources there.
Absolutely. Okay, wonderful. Well, Alexander, I really want to thank you for taking the time to come into studio today. It was a pleasure having you here. I'm glad we got to do this face to face instead of
Yes.
over the phone. So
Pleasure. Thank you so much.
you're quite welcome. You're quite welcome. And so, just a couple of things to talk about before we end up the show. So, as I mentioned at the top of the hour, I wanted to let everybody know that really December 21st, which is the winter solstice, shortest day of the year, we're doing a radio marathon here for the first time that we've ever done it. And we're going to be setting up a GoFundMe campaign because we're going to try and raise some money, like like the Jerry Lewis Marathon type things. I raised it for a cause. We're trying to raise it to help get some new equipment here. Some of people may have noticed that there's some bleed over on the phone lines because of a local radio station with too much power out putting out. It bleeds over equipment to fix that. We'd like to get some more stuff so that we can better serve you. So we're really asking for people to help spread the word about Talkradio.nyc. If you enjoy listening to us, if you like the shows, we've got new shows coming up. I'm actually very, very pleased to announce I just met with a lovely young woman yesterday who's going to be joining the station starting December 14th, and she's going to take the slot right before my show from 11 to 12 on Thursdays. So I hope you will tune in for her show. Her name's Elizabeth Tripp, and we have yet to come up with a name for her show, but we'll announce that very shortly. And again, to learn all about this and more, make sure you go to our website and sign up for the newsletter. Just go to talkradio.nyc. Right at the top there, you can put in your subscribe, so this way you can hear all about that. And I had announced previously about Larry Sharp returning to the network, and he's had to put it off because of his campaign of running for governor under the Libertarian ticket for New York State. So he's a busy guy, so he's had to put off starting his show a bit, but he will be starting right now. We're shooting for the 13th, so actually the week December 13th and 14th we'll have a couple of new shows, so I hope you will join us then. So and we do have some replays and new shows coming up following myself. There's Oscar Nordstrom's show, Off the Beaten Path. It's a replay. He's taking a little bit of a break, but he'll be coming back next year, followed by a brand new episode of Kai Cole's show, Our Daily Magic. She's got a guest on today, G.P. Walsh, followed by Is It Plugged In with Adam Weinberg. It's a replay. He's taking a little bit of break until January. He'll be back first week of January with new live shows. And of course, tomorrow, Fridays, In the Know 420, Follow Me Friday with Joan and Priya and Tony Martignetti, Nonprofit Radio. Make sure you stay tuned for all of that. Thank all of you for tuning in, whether it's on the Facebook live stream or on talkradio.nyc. I love you all. We'll talk to you next week.